You may remember recently that we told you that the historical Skyliner Lodge was in danger of shutting down. But thanks to the organization Nature Connect, the lodge is breathing fresh air again.
Now, many of you like me may be aware that there's such a thing as the Skyliner Lodge, but really don't know anything about it. And that's about to change.
Skyliner Lodge has been in the news lately. Really important to think of Skyliner Lodge as the precursor to everything Mount Bachelor is today.
The Skyliner Club was around before Mount Bachelor was a gleam in Bill Healy's eye. They had some land up Mackenzie Pass, but soon realized they needed to look closer to home.
In along Tumalo Creek, they found a 900-foot elevation hill that was just right.
Now, the Skyliner Club was into everything winter, from toboggans to ski jumping, but the Great Depression almost killed their dreams.
So you'd think being in the middle of the Great Depression in 1935 would be a horrible time to try and finance, a capital project like a lodge. But in reality, it dovetailed perfectly with a lot of what was happening in the country at that point.
Now, you see, during the Depression, FDR's New Deal created programs like the Civilian Conservation Corps, or CCC, and the WPA.
Their efforts led to things like the Timberline Lodge and Mount Rainier National Park.
Their aims were simple.
To keep people employed, for one, but also fund critical infrastructure for communities around the country.
Now, in this part of the world, there were a lot of people that knew how to do a lot of things. And that's where Uncle Sam came calling.
So on the Deschutes National Forest staff was Cleon Clark, who had actually gone to school for both architecture and forestry. He designed the lodge, and then the CCC came to build it, but all of the metalwork in the building, a Scandinavian immigrant by the name of Frederickson was a blacksmith, so he hand forged all of the nails, hinges, all of the ironwork that went into the lodge was, hand forged by him in town.
The Skyliner ski area was the bee's knees, but in the words of Greek philosopher Heraclitus, the only thing you can count on is change. And boy, he wasn't lying.
By the late 40s and early 50s, the snowfall is actually declining, and so the amount of snow ski season that they were having at the site kept getting shorter and shorter. And then the real nail in the coffin comes in January of 1957. There's actually a fire. Doesn't impact the lodge, but it takes out all of this hillside amenities. The tow rope, the tower, all of those pieces get destroyed in that. And with Bachelor actually actively under construction and going to open in '58, there was no reason to come back and replace anything on the hillside at Skyliners.
But there is a happy ending to this story. Though Skyliner ski area is gone, the lodge has remained, a staple for weddings, educational programs, and camps for kids.
And despite the recent threat to its existence, this 90-year-old's still kicking.
It's remained in a constant state of community engagement for its entire 90-year history.
For Central Oregon Daily News, I'm Scott Elmas.